If you want to see me create a look with some shadows that I have in common with a fellow viewer, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another Clionadh video. If you are a regular viewer, you would know that this is one of my favorite brands, and if I could only keep one palette in my collection, it would be my Clionadh palette, both for the design and for its contents. I actually have two palettes, but if I had to pick one, I would pick all my favorites from Clionadh and just keep that. Anyway, the reason for this video is I had a request from a fellow viewer who wanted to have some help with some look ideas for Clionadh shadows, and her name is Tracey Murphy, and I asked Tracey if she wanted to give me a list of her Clionadh singles so that I could dig in my collection, find the pairings of what she has and what I have, and put them in a magnetic palette so that I could help her with at least one look with Clionadh eyeshadows. Now, what you will notice as far as the duplicates as an overlap between our two collections, there are only two mattes. And there's Inkwell here, and this one I think is Sublimate? Wait, yeah, Sublimate. Or Sublimate. I'm not sure what the intention was, but I'll say Sublimate. So two mattes, and I do prefer mattes for a base color upon which to put the shimmers, metallics, and duochromes from the Clionadh collection, because they pack a punch. So you don't necessarily want to use them all over the lid. Of course you can, but I like to kind of ease the eye into it from the brow bone to the lid colors. So I've been playing with Tracey's options, the options I have to show Tracey, and I do have a color story here that I want to play with. And what I'm planning on doing is starting with the mattes, doing all of the base on the eye with the mattes, and then going in with two colors. I think this one is the smaller one. Yeah, okay. So with Gecko's Tail right here and Climate Change. So I'll be using these for shadows. If you want to see more of the combination of black with three separate eyeshadows from Clionadh, I will put the video right here. They were the quad of the month, the first quad of the month, I think, for this year. So I was very, very happy, either the last quad of last year or the first of this year. But anyway, I was very happy with having just the one matte and the three colors. I was able to do three completely different looks, and I thought it looked pretty good, but you tell me. Okay, I have talked enough. I'm scooting forward toward the camera. We're going to start with this one in the crease, outer lid, and possibly lower lash line, and then this one on the inner to center lid, and then we will top off with the other two shadows I mentioned, Gecko's Tail and Climate Change. So I will just get into it with a crease brush. And this is the crease brush I will use. It's the usual Sephora crease brush in the 10 color set of 5 brushes. I got it a long time ago. I don't even know if Sephora still sells it. But I'm going to be very careful because Inkwell, which is the black, is extremely pigmented. So let's get right into it. If you're wondering what I have on my eye right now, I have the NudeStix in Gilt and Angel. Angel toward the inner lid and Gilt toward the outer lid. And then I used Hoola Lite to set those colors. So I'm not using a ton of product on the black. I'm just trying to deepen out the crease so that I can get more depth on the outer lid and less on the inner lid when I get into the very shimmery shadows. And I have quite a bit of lid space, so I'm just gently bringing the black up a little bit as I go. And it took a very, very small amount of product. Very small amount of product. Okay, and I'm just going to take an angled brush and just bring the black a little bit down on the outer lower lid because I'm probably going to do some more of the Clionadh colorful shadows on top of it. And here is the angled brush I'm going to use. It's just a typical, it's from the same set at Sephora. It's the typical angled brush that I use, a tiny, tiny bit of black, and I'm going very close to the lash line to begin with. And it did not take much at all. Now whatever's left on the brush, I'm just going to repeat on the very top of the lash line. Okay, I'm just going to soften it up a little bit. And for that purpose, I like to use, again from the same set, this is the all over shadow brush that I actually use to clean up underneath when I feel like I've got a bit too much intensity. And it does a pretty good job. And I have a little bit of fallout, so I'm just going to clean that off right away. And I think I'm going to go back into that angled brush and just get a little bit more black right here. It looks like it's not low enough, just to get them to join together a little bit. Okay. Now, I also want to use the matte to go on the inner to center lid as well, because I want that area of the eye to be really punchy in color. And so I'm going to wipe off my angled brush and use it to apply that matte on the inner to center lid. So I've got that cleaned off. And let's work on this other one, which is Sublimate. So we finished up with Inkwell and now we're going into Sublimate. Okay, so I've packed it onto my brush and it does not take a lot. I just lightly tapped in the pan. It does not take a lot at all, just tapped off the excess. And now I'm going in to the inner lid. You may have noticed that I have a colored rain magnetic palette. I also love that brand a great deal. Another indie brand. This one is Colored Rain is from the US, and they have a wonderful 96 pan magnetic palette that I absolutely love. I had 2 of them and I got another one on the way because I use a lot of different singles for a bunch of different projects, like this one. And it's really nice to be able to just open up 3 palettes and see most of the singles. Now, of course, for Clionadh, I have the Clionadh magnetic palettes, which are my absolute favorite because the design on the cover of the stained glass is just, it's so beautiful that I don't want to use anything else, frankly. Okay, I'm just going to overlap with whatever the kick up is on the pan. I'm just going to overlap a little bit more onto the black. And there we go. I have my base upon which to put the additional colors from Clionadh. And so we're going to go right in. I want to use Gecko's Tail, which is down here on the outer to center, and then this one, which I keep forgetting, Climate Change. Climate Change on the inner to center lid. So I'm going to do that on this eye, and then I'm going to do the other eye and the rest of the makeup so that you can see the final look. Oh, and on my brow bone, I do have just the highlighter in the Quo Brow palette. It's just a typical brow palette of the wax and the brow powder, and it happens to have a brow highlight, and that's just what I used. It was not a big deal to me what I put on my brow. You could put any sort of brow highlight. It would look just fine, I believe, anyway. Now for the 2, I think I'm going to go in with my multitasker brush from Smashbox to go right in and follow my inner lash line. So I'm actually going to start with Climate Change. I thought I was going to start with Gecko's Tail, but I'm going to do this one instead. And just covering up the original color, the original matte, Sublimate, is now covered up with climate change. And I'm just starting it off. I'm going to finish it off with my finger because Clionadh shadows look a lot better when applied with the finger, in my opinion. So I've just used a little bit on my pinky and I'm going right in. And it really just takes one little drag of the finger on the singles to get enough shadow for what you want to do. And that lime green just pops. Okay, so we've got the inner to center lid. Now I'm going to use my ring finger into Gecco's tail, which is a beautiful, beautiful duochrome. It's a vivid green and gold shift. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. See that? And we're going to go to outer to center lid. And I may go back and forth between Gecco and the black if I'm not finding it intense enough. Okay, and I'm going to go on to the lower lash line with this. That's why I put the black on it as well, to really make Gecco's tail show up. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my brush to just wipe off a little bit of the extra. And I'm going to go back in with, actually I think, yeah, I'm going to go back in with my angled brush into the black just to soften it up a little bit. And I'm barely tapping into the pan. Okay, now I'm going to go back into Gecco and just bring it up a little bit higher in the crease with my crease brush. Yeah. I'm actually going to mix up Gecco and the black a little bit, back and forth. Okay, and into the crease I go. It just softens up the green up toward the brow bone. Okay, I am really, really liking the effect. It's quite fetching in my opinion. I do want to soften up just right here, and for that I'm going to go back into what I used to set the NudeStix colors, and it is this one. It's the Hoola Lite from the Complexionista palette. I'm going to go into this guy just to soften up right under the brow bone, and I'm going to use the same brush as I used earlier to do the initial setting of the eye primer. Going right in, just a tap, and I'm going to soften up between the brow highlight and the Gecco and black mixture. Inkwell, Gecco and Inkwell. And there we go. I think it looks pretty cute. I'm going to recreate, like I said, this look on the other eye, give you a look of everything before liner and lashes, and then show you the final look. So I will be back with the other eye done and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the look with no liner or mascara or any of that stuff. And I just wanted to go back and highlight the brow a little bit more because I think there's a lot of bling on the eyelid and I'd like to just do a little bit more on the brow bone. And I just went back into my Clionadh because I just want to pick a brow highlight because I don't think that the one I used is quite enough. And I'm just looking for something that might work quite nicely. Let's see here. Okay, I think I'm going to go with Chamomille. I'm just going to show you the color. So I'm going to go with this one. Just a very small sweep of it. It's kind of like a beigey pink. And I'm going in with a very fluffy brush, and I'm going to pick oh so little of it. Just a tiny, tiny bit of it. Literally a tiny, tiny bit of it. I barely have any on the brush. And it just added a little something to balance the brow with the rest of the look. Okay, I am happier with that. Now, if you don't feel like you have the lid space for a heavy look like that, just don't take, now I take the black up to the brow bone because I have a lot of lid space. If you are concerned about that, stop it right above the fold in the crease. So I would stop it right here and just do an oval. Don't go quite so high. That will make a very, very big difference. Now it does look, when we go with bold colors like this, it does look a little scary until the liner and lashes are done. The only liner I'm wearing right now is the Urban Decay Zero on the upper waterline. That's all I have on. I'm going to go put some liner on and some mascara, and I will be right back. All right, I am back, and I just want to walk through everything I did. I actually went back into the palette, back into Climate Change, because as I was doing the liner, I realized that I wanted something a little bit more bright on the inner lower lid to match the upper lid. And all I did, I didn't go back into the matte Sublimate. I just went into this guy right here, which is Climate Change, and used a pencil brush, the Morphe M149. It's very, very fine, and I just went in into the inner third of the lower lash line. Well, lower lid, really. You can see the green there, and it just brightened up the lower lid to kind of just match a little bit the top, and I really quite like it. So that's the only thing I did with the shadows. And here's what I did with the liners and mascara. So I used the Urban Decay Zero. It's a black liner. It's not quite as lasting or deep as the Perversion liner, but it's pretty good. It's very creamy, and it does set after a while. And I did that first on the upper waterline, just redoing it. And I also used, what is it called? Dark Heart? Yeah, Dark Heart, which is another liner from Urban Decay that has a brown base, but red sparkles, red burgundy sparkles. And I thought that it would be a nice contrast to the greens and greenish gold that we used. So that's it for the regular liners. I also used a liquid liner, and I don't recommend it because it sucks. It's the Sephora Drama liner, well, a dramatic liner, but the only thing dramatic about it is how tough it is to use, so I wouldn't suggest it. But any kind of liquid liner on the upper, basically upper lashes. So I go all the way to the end and just kind of fished it a little bit back and then covered it with that Dark Heart that I just showed you. And I also used the Hourglass Caution Mascara. No special reason, used 2 coats. It's the mascara I'm using right now, and so that's the one I put on. And then for my lips, I used the Opal and Jade, what's it called? Lip Topper Glow Gloss. And it has some flecks of lime green in the lip gloss. It doesn't really translate on camera, but that is what I put on. And in real life, they go together quite nicely. I think that's everything I did. I'm just looking to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I don't believe I did. So again, this is a look strictly with the shadows that I had, the Clionadh shadows that I had, that was an overlap with Tracey. If you would like to see another look using some of these colors, and I would pair in a brown or a taupe or a beige color as a matte to go along with them. Then let me know which colors are of interest. So let's just say, let's go from here and say Gecko's tail is number 1. So we're gonna go 1 across, 5 across, what is that now? 11 across, and so on to 16. So let me know if there's a color, or if you want to say, you know, the the pink or the purple or the deep blue, however you want to say it. I'll just get close so you can really see the colors. Sometimes it's hard with this camera to see it all. There we go. Okay. So I have no problem doing one more look, not a whole bunch, but one more look. If you see a look combination that is in the comments below for this video and you like it, just give it a like, and that will tell me that that's a second vote, or put a comment underneath so I know that more than one person is interested. And I'm hoping that this look was of some use, a couple of tips or tricks. If you have tips or tricks for me for Clionadh shadows, I'm always all ears as well. We all learn from each other, and we just improve our makeup skills that way. So I hope this video was useful. Thank you so much for watching. You know I appreciate it every single time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.